Live and we're live. Everybody, a little moody today. We have a little moodiness because the bidding wars have started across the United States. They have expanded. And in my area, I've seen bidding wars for houses that shouldn't have had bidding wars on. But I also want to say my friend Tanya Cool, who is cooler than the other side of the pillow. This is her last show with us this week. We won't be seeing her for quite some time. She's heading back to Pittsburgh. But that's why the moodiness. We have moodiness behind us today. So, and we do have a special guest that knows all about the bidding wars and a home affordability in the United States. And she's out of Colorado Springs. And we're going to have Susanna Haney coming in right now. Woo! Eddie, go bring her on. Woo! Everybody give her a round of applause. You got to do this. Give her a round of applause.
Hi.
Hey, Susanna.
Hey, hi guys.
Welcome.
Welcome. I have to do this really quick because I can't get it out of my head and I'm perpetually an 8-year-old kid in my head.
Wait, hold on. Do you want to do it together? 1, 2. Oh,
Susanna, don't you cry for me. She come from Alabama with a banjo on her knee.
I have no part of this.
That's a new one.
I bet you've never heard that in your whole entire life. But if anybody knows me, if you have a name that has a song to it, as soon as I meet you, I sing it to you right away.
I'm touched.
So like I reached out to you and you and I were talking about the bidding wars in Colorado. And then this article came out this week. Eddie, go ahead and pull it up, about the craziest situation I have ever heard in my life. And I need to ask you if this ever happened to you. I know that you saw it as well. And it was a bidding war that happened here in in Dallas, Texas. How crazy is the Dallas real estate market right now? A buyer was offered $50,000 to walk away the home that they secured in their bidding war. Go ahead and scroll down, babe.
That's so bananas.
Wow.
The babe in the back is my husband that I'm telling to scroll down, by the way. Dallas, Texas, a story of a Dallas Business Journal regarding the lack of housing inventory on area at WFAA's website has trended in the past day. So it got me texting a few realtors to see if the market is as crazy as it sounds. Spoiler, yes. The report mirrored the findings of Compass Real Estate Brokerage that found a decrease of 53.3% locally in January of the Dallas housing inventory compared to the same time last year. Go ahead and scroll down. All right. There were 1,649 homes in the Dallas County at the end of January compared to 3,533 at the end of January 2021. That's kind of what we're seeing here. Sellers in the Dallas area are getting priced the price they're requesting. Homes sold in January for 100.1% of their list price compared to 97.4% of the asking price in 2021. According to the report, cash is still king at 27% of the home sales in January 2022 were all cash compared to 23% in December of 2021. And 19% of January 2021 also demonstrated the continued interest from individual investors and second home buyers. Those corporate buyers drive me nuts. Compass also noted that in the Dallas area, some homes are getting up to 50 offers on average.
Oh
my. So anyways, let's go. I'm going to go. It's absolutely wild. Malik said, I've reached out again and again to get acknowledgement for an offer that is $50,000 above asking price. Cash is absolutely king right now. Not everyone has that kind of liquidity. It's becoming the new norm, and it's important to start saving now. Mikolek added that all offers she made during the last week were $25,000 to $50,000 above asking price. If you don't act now, truthfully, within a day it was listed, or 2 or 3 days, you don't even have a chance. Yeah, realtor Tom Tremonti made a splash on WFAA when he revealed that last year he was offering cruise ships to sellers to get them to choose him as choose his clients for their offers. Holy cow. Wow, well, that's an incentive. Go ahead and scroll down.
Wow.
Well, whatever. Eddie, you're going to scroll down a bit.
I thought I was being generous saying I'll clean your house.
Oh, Tremonti says he still does it. In the early days, though, it was in hopes that they would get us to the house. Now it's in hopes they call us back. It's completely and utterly nuts. Tremonti underscored that Compass report said that the housing market isn't much better than the Dallas County. There is no inventory anywhere. Right now in Frisco, there's only one home under $400,000 for sale. Tremonti then offered a story that blew my mind. He said that he helped someone sell their home and get an under contract. During that time, he said another buyer came in and offered the buyer that was under contract as much as $50,000 to walk away from the property. They said they would give him $50,000 to go away so they could buy the house. The buyer turned down the offer as there was some complexity as if someone could legally or ethically do that. But that's the real story, and it happened. That is insanity. Eddie, you can just go ahead and pull that back. We're good now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know that in your market, the Colorado Springs, like all around Boulder, like everybody's talking about the bidding wars that you have there. Is it common to get bids for over 25, 50,000? Like what is commonplace for asking over?
So the statistics say it's on average 4% above list price, which
Wow.
really doesn't sound like a whole lot. I would say, below 450, it's easy 35,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's a lot of money.
35,000. Once you go higher, I would say in the 700,000, 50,000 and up with full appraisal gap. With full, I mean, it's almost heartbreaking. I had a sale last year listed at 749. It's kind of funny because the seller actually, so she was from Texas and she wanted to move back to Texas. And she was like, oh, maybe we should list it at 735 because she could not believe that this house would have increased that much in value. And I said,
Susanna, if you don't mind me interrupting, what's the average sale price in your market, like in your MLS?
Yeah, it's for February 515.
Okay,
That's not bad.
That gives us.
I thought it was like
context.
close to $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
no, that's Boulder. You're thinking of Boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 515 in Pittsburgh, it's 265. That was January, though. I'd have to check what February was.
Cry for a moment.
We're closer to that too. We're closer to that here in Louisiana.
Oh wow. Yeah. So, anyways, we did have a nearly 100,000 above list price with full appraisal gap. Actually, it was cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seen a lot more cash buyers there?
So I saw Dallas apparently has 27%. We have only between 19 and 22% cash offers. We have a huge amount of VA buyers. I mean, we have 3 military bases plus NORAD plus the Air Force Academy. So we have a lot of military here. So.
But like, okay, when it was back to a regular market, how often were you seeing cash buyers? I mean, it wasn't at 19%, obviously. What was it at?
Probably half, so 10% maybe. And it was mainly, and we usually saw the cash offers in the, flipping section.
Sure.
Right.
And that's like the entry price point.
Yeah, but not, I mean, 800,000 cash. It's beyond me, but those are actually, the California buyers.
Yeah.
Some of
they're walking away from their $800,000 house that was a little Cracker Jack house, and now they're buying themselves a really nice home.
Laughing when they see our prices. So yeah, we do see cash in the higher price ranges, which I think that's actually the amazing thing, because how much money there is amazing. It's out there.
I'm like, where are these people growing the money from? Like, I didn't know so many people. And then I'm like, boy, we're really far behind. Like, anyway.
Right? I know. I'm not doing wrong.
I can definitely say that in Pittsburgh, the vast majority of the cash buyers they're not closing as cash. They're offering as cash, but they're not closing as cash.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So they're doing those. Yeah, so they do those loans, like where it looks like a cash, and so the lender will purchase it as a cash, but you're buying it from the lender basically.
Or they're putting up both of it's a couple, They're putting up both of their retirement accounts and they are saying that it's liquid and it's not. And then they get a mortgage. And then if for some strange reason they can't get a mortgage, which I've never seen happen, they buy it and then they refinance and they put 80% back into their retirements within 60 days. So they don't get penalized.
I do want to point this out because here in our market, I've seen this just recently in the last couple of weeks that has sprouted up quite a bit, was that we've had a bunch of houses that would have been in our lower price point that are going back on the market and they're not closing due to financing. And I didn't think about it until I was talking to Sir Ashley, and he said, well, that's because those people were probably on the cusp. So they had qualified for a house, let's just say that was 250. And the reason why they aren't able to close is because the interest rates went up. And since they were on that cusp, that they were no longer able to qualify for that specific type of home loan or in that amount. So that's probably why they went back up for sale. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. That was smart.
So I haven't seen too much of that, but so for us, it gets difficult under 400.
Right.
And I have a couple buyers, and before we offer, because see, Thursday houses go on the market, they stay on the market through the weekend, and then on Monday, usually the seller makes a decision. So we kind of just offer only on the weekends. And there are certain things now, certain strategies that you have to come up with because we can only offer at one house at a time. So I know Texas is a little different. You can kind of tie up a whole bunch of properties, not in Colorado Springs. So we have to kind of work with that. However, before we make an offer on that Friday, it's like, you need to talk to your lender. I know there've been some changes. What happened? Are you still qualified for 375? And they were like, no, we're down at 370. Well, that's good to know, right?
Right. That's good to know. CC Moon with a $5 super chat says, how many years before it's a buyer's market? 5, 10, 15 years from now? Asking for a friend. I'm stuck in 2010 house prices. A lot of last back in my day. Back in my day. Right. Houses used to cost this much amount of money.
That's a great question.
Back in my day, my 1,500 square foot house cost $135,000.
Yeah, right.
Too funny.
So earliest, I think 5.
Yeah.
Earliest, I don't know.
I'm gonna go 10. I'm gonna go 10 because it's gonna take. You're talking deregulation. We're talking a ramp up of building. We're talking the contractors who are required to actually build said houses. So there's a lot. 10, maybe 7.
I want to tell you guys this. I just was listening, and Eddie was listening with me. There's an app called Clubhouse, and there was a group of home builders that were talking to one another about building materials, home construction. They had uttermost optimism beginning of the year. They have plans to build X amount of houses with their capital that they were with, everything. They had it all arranged. They had bid out jobs. They're having the hardest time right now finding roofing materials, nails, lumber. And they're like,
it's my husband's business.
And they said they cannot do what they had projected to do for this year. It's been like, they're like, how could you expect that, this whole thing to happen in Ukraine and it cause all this other problems? Not only that, China is like shut down again because new wave of the pandemonium.
Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that we were told that the supply chain issues were going to rectify themselves, and they were getting better. And then you just put another like wrench in the wheel, and now it's slowed everything down once again. And those builders were panicked because they do not have enough materials to build the homes they projected for this year, and they don't think they're going to make their numbers they anticipated to put on the market this year. So if they anticipated 150 units, they were saying we'll be lucky to get 80 out.
Yeah. So I have a buyer. She went under contract last March for a new construction home that was supposed to be finished early, like January this year. They haven't even broken ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
She will not get her earnest money back because we had another buyer who was signed up with the same subdivision. And so that lady didn't get her earnest money back, so she won't. And then Yeah, they haven't broken ground. They're hoping to get it done by June. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. You haven't
broken ground by now, and you're gonna slap
But
it together in 90
How
days.
can they even get the soil compaction done by time if they haven't broken ground?
Yeah,
Correct. Correct. Yes, that.
Now she's priced out of the market because last year that
Mhm.
400,000, add 20% to that. Well, she doesn't qualify because her income didn't increase 20%.
Exactly. No, exactly. Jerry Prusa says, Kristina Smallhorn, historically, have risen interest rates caused home prices to drop? I don't know the answer, but I would be on the fence. Historically, higher interest rates could make home prices drop. But at this point, with the shortage, we've never seen a shortage of supply of homes like we have right now with the increase of interest rates.
Yes.
And like Susanna has been telling us, we have an exorbitant amount of people that are buying cash. So they just laugh in the faces of interest rates. I have cash. Who cares? You know, and because there isn't a supply of homes on the market. They just don't care. Like it's so frustrating for us as real estate agents because people are like, oh, you guys are just rolling in cash. You are wrong. You're so wrong. There's people like, I think you were telling me, or somebody was telling me that their business is down 15% from the year before because there isn't enough homes for them to sell. They have plenty of clients. Then they've had a business they've built for years. And it's not that they don't know how to sell houses. It's just there isn't enough homes for them to sell in the first place.
One of my colleagues who does a lot of volume. Came to me and was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And National Association of Realtors published that the average realtor's income is down 20% in 2020 and in 2021.
Yeah.
See?
So 2021 was pretty good here and still. But you know, we only have roughly about 1,000 transactions that actually close a month, last month. And so and we have 6,000 realtors. So there's some realtors that are going hungry, basically. So, I mean, and to really kind of get a grasp on the number we have. Okay, so officially we have about 500 active listings. However, more than half are new construction, so they're not ready to.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so and then if you pull out of those listings just the existing single family homes, you come to, I think it's a stupid number, like 211. Wow. And we have 750,000 people living here. Wow. And compared to 2008, where we had half the people, we had 7,000 listing. Now that was, you know, when at the height of that recession. 7,211.
Well, I have a question for you really quick. I'm going to get to your question in just a second, Vicki, but I do have this question. Because of the average price of a home is around 500, would you say 550,000?
515.
515,000. People that are working jobs that make like 75,000, 100,000, that's going to be very difficult for them to find a home in your area. What is it that people do that have that kind of price point? I mean, they've got good credit. They could qualify for a loan, but there's no houses. What do they do for homes in your area?
Well, move in with parents, you know, sublet, or somebody is helping them with the down payment. I actually see that a lot, where the parents or grandparents are plunking down 20% or even more. But if you don't have those kind of generous parents, you're kind of stuck, you know, and it's kind of tough. And then on top of that, I mean, kind of circling back to that affordable housing thing, when you know, it's the whole NIMBY problem, you know. Somebody wants to build affordable housing, it's just,
it becomes a bad word. Affordable housing, for some reason, people have a preconceived idea what affordable housing means. If we rebranded that needs to be rebranded, because we're pricing out teachers, firefighters, police officers. Those people cannot afford to live in the area that they serve, which is it's criminal as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
They should be able to live in the place that they work. Those are the foundations of a community. So they should be able to find affordable housing. Vicky says, do you think that there's a panic buying because of the interest rates going up? In my area, there was. As soon as that just creeped up, the phone was like on fire. I don't know how it was in your area. When that crept up in your area, did it cause panic buying for you in your area?
I think so. I mean, it was nuts. People were just go. The sellers feel that way.
Sure. I wouldn't call it panic buying, Vicky, but I would say people who were
on the fence
are now fully invested, fully integrated. They're treating it like a part-time job. When I tell people, when I onboard clients and their buyers, I tell them finding a home, going under agreement, and closing a home is a part-time job. You should expect to devote 15 hours a week to this process until you're under agreement. Once you're under agreement, it goes down to maybe like 3 to 5. But until then, you need to treat it like a part-time job. And so a lot of them weren't. And now when the interest rates ticked up, now they are.
I was showing houses like every time I have this one couple that's looking for a house, and every time when that popped on the market, they're like, can we see this today? I'm like, yeah, what time? Yeah, what time? I'm on my way. So
you have to go and see houses within 12 hours of it coming on the market. Even if they say, oh, we're not accepting, offers until Monday. Liars.
Liar, pants on fire. They're such liars. Because then you go to show it, and you're going to go show it the next day, and they say they were going to wait until Sunday, and then you go and you made that appointment for Sunday morning, and then all of a sudden they're like, we took an offer last night. We couldn't refuse it. I'm like, your listing said you weren't going to take it until the end of it Sunday. Liars. Nicholas Roberts says, Kristina knows what industry that I work in. I personally seen what she's been speaking on about builders and rental communities north of Louisiana. Okay, so I don't know if
Houston.
North of Houston, Texas. This is common in Arizona. Tell me, is it common in Colorado? They're building to rent. They're building brand new communities, but they're not building them for people to purchase. They're building them to rent them out. Big corporations, a lot of these big firms, your Vanguards, your BlackRocks, they're building these communities specifically to rent out, and they're marketing them towards you millennials. Basically saying, you never have to worry about the expense of all the things you have to deal with.
Take care of everything.
We're going to take care of everything for you.
Your daddy corporate landlord will take care of everything.
Yeah, you don't have nothing to worry about with these homes. You just get to live in it. No worries. We'll even mow your lawn. Yeah, that's how they do the whole thing. And I don't know, is that common in your area? The rent to own?
No, Colorado Springs, I have not seen single family or even attached homes where that is the case.
Good.
But who knows? If they smell the money, that's where they're going. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that got here too. So.
Do you have a lot of corporate buyers in your area? Have you seen a lot of bids that come in for corporate buyers?
Yeah, anything under 500.
Okay, gotcha. They do. They buy the least expensive homes in the hottest markets. That they always do that.
Actually, we've between 350 and 450. So, which is still the lower end, but they won't go for the cheapest homes. Which I thought it's really interesting. So newer subdivisions between 350, 450 up to 500. Haven't seen much more above that. So.
Well, that makes sense. That's what they do in Atlanta too. Atlanta's seen like increase. They're up to like 25% of the offers are corporate offers.
Wow,
crazy. I know.
But they do prefer certain areas in town for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Miami has a lot too, but they always have. They've even before the last housing crash, lots of corporate buyers.
Costanzo.
Thank you. Costanzo said, question, if you could buy a property for $70,000 cash anywhere in the country for value, where would you be? Thank you. anywhere in the country, if I
Pittsburgh.
no, if I could buy anywhere in the country, I'd probably be Asheville, North Carolina. I'm sure Eddie can concur.
Does that
Can you
exist?
buy something for 70,000?
No, but you know what? If I could buy something for 70,000, that's where I'd want it to be.
Okay.
But
I would go do that in Honolulu.
yeah, but a place that you could is there's numerous places around Tennessee. You can do that. I would do that around Tennessee. And then a lot of my investors bought in Kansas City, Missouri, of all places. I was like, what is the big deal there? But a lot of them just picked up all their stuff, sold it in Austin, and bought several houses out in Kansas City, Missouri. So
Wow.
I'm like, really, have at it. They're like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm like, well, you're smarter than me. You guys have been doing this for years. So have at it, my friend. I got a great real estate agent connection out there too. That's in Kansas City, Missouri. So yeah, I'll let you know if you have any investors that want to go out there. He is awesome. He is a numbers dude all the way through and through.
Wow.
He can do rate caps and all that stuff that I'm like, whatever. That's not my thing.
Not my jam.
Not my jam at all. And James Bailey said, we are having a new inventory home built by a reputable builder, but they will not allow any private inspections and any private process and inspections in addition to the town inspections. Your thoughts? That's alarming.
Did you see my reaction, James?
Yeah, that's alarming. No, you like the thing is like, I don't know how it is in your area, Susanna, but in my area, like whenever you hire a home inspector, they have a new home build package.
Yep.
So they go out there like after the foundation's poured, they go out there when the framing is up. They go out there once the wiring and drywall is up to check that. And then they go out once everything's complete to make sure everything works.
Well, we don't have that much going on. For some, I've tried to get inspectors that do that, but they say it's too much liability. But they will come in at the end and just do all the inspections. And
interesting,
better than others. So yeah, but
my problem,
not allowing it at all, that's kind of not good.
My problem with that is that
what are they hiding?
Why?
What are they hiding?
Why?
Why wouldn't they let and here's the thing. Who's to say, like, maybe you don't schedule an appointment and you just take your friend over to your new home build as it's being instructed. Nobody has to know he's an inspector. You just kind of take him around for a little peek-see, like, and if they stop you, they're like, oh, I'm just showing my friend my new house. Like, I don't know.
Have all this equipment with him.
Yeah, he's just playing around. He's just got some new things from for his birthday. He's just playing around with it. Not a big deal.
I think a lot of people don't realize that subs are different on every different home build site. So the banner and the flag might be the same, but the actual workers on the ground are not the same plan to plan or house to house.
True. Even the roofers. You could have one set of shingles on your one roof, and then you're like, oh, these are the good Corning shingles, and the next ones are like some widget roofing material. And you're like, why are these cracking?
True.
Sewer lines. Some builders scope the sewer lines before closing and some don't, and that's where it's at, because sewer line repairs are
that happened to my parents. They had a big chunk of wood in the sewer line and the house kept backing up. And the builder's like, you guys, you're flushing things down there that you shouldn't. And then of course my mom's screaming at me because of course it's my fault. And I'm like, Mom, I didn't put anything
do all the real estate things. Fix it.
Well, this was when I was a teenager. And they kept saying there was nothing wrong with it. They had to dig up their whole front yard and there was a big chunk of wood in the sewer line, and everything, all the product that we were flushing down the toilet get caught on this big chunk of wood. The neighbors loved us. So
it was your fault after all.
Yeah, totally all my fault. Jerry Prusa says, question, where are the cash buyers coming from? What is their source of all the cash? Parents helping kids. I'll give you one. Northern buyers, right? I know everybody talks about California, but northern buyers have an excess amount of cash because they sold their house that was $800,000 and they can move down to here, like to Louisiana, and they could buy double the house for $400,000. So they've just basically won the lottery in their minds, and they can buy cash and they can upsell forever. What's another reason for the cash?
The taking their own personal investments,
Yeah.
like using their 401ks, their IRAs, and putting it up for cash. Sometimes they buy with the cash and then they refinance later, 30 days later, pull out the 80%. Sometimes they use the
Cash
parents'
loans.
money.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do the
Cash loans.
cash loans.
It looks like a cash deal. It's not a cash
Mhm.
deal. And at the end, sure enough, they're closing with a loan, but it was
Mhm.
through the bank. The bank actually purchased it cash and they were able to secure the house.
Mhm.
What do you see? What is another reason for the cash buyers?
Exactly the same thing. And you know, parents helping their kids, you know, last but not
Mhm.
least, or family members,
Mhm.
you know, otherwise they would not be able to get in.
I have a little bit more insight because whenever people were like cash, 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 I'm on the board of a philanthropic organization, and I just
Aren't you
no,
special?
I just know math. Like I'm just looking at these spreadsheets and I'm like, there can't possibly be this many transactions closing cash, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. And of course, it's not real cash. It's, you know, a variety of creative methodologies.
Hey, Susanna, how many philanthropic organizations are you a member of?
Nonprofit. If I say nonprofit, that's too broad, though. Everything's a nonprofit. She's giving me a hard time.
I can't help it.
She's gonna miss me.
Oh, you're way
I
ahead.
know. Cece Moon with a $5 super chat says, true. There are 3 rental communities by me in Phoenix. See, 2-bedroom, 2-bath houses. They're pricing them at $2,100 to $2,300 a month.
What?
And you should read the articles that they read to explain the houses. I mean, they have really like juiced these up to make them sound like it's the smartest financial decision a younger person can make, to not have the hassle of a mortgage. You know, you don't have the hassle of a mortgage and maintaining a house if you rent from us.
Wow.
It just makes me.
That is a lot
sad.
of money.
Mhm.
That's a
It
lot of
is.
money. But you know,
I know.
here's something else. The digital nomads, you know, people that can work anywhere. I really like that expression, digital nomads. You know, now they can go to places that are, you know, lower in living cost, in cost of living, and you know, work from there. Which, of course, if you have a whole influx of them, then that increases the prices as well. If you're making 2,000, oh my gosh, I don't know how much Silicon Valley makes a month, but it's a lot. So if you make $20,000 a month and you move to, I don't know, somewhere rural,
Tennessee, rural Tennessee, rural.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's where that's another part where the money is, you know, and
even rural parts of New York too, man. Eddie and I saw what was it, 93 acre? Somebody in our comment section here, he has a 93 acre lot full of like 5 beautiful, like historic turn of the century barn type houses. Wow. And like, I want it. It's $400,000. $400,000.
Like the land and the house?
Yes,
together.
Wow. I know. I'm like, hook a sister up. Eddie's like, let's do it. I'm like, there's so much work that needs to go into putting it together, and then the taxes on that. The taxes would be so high. Taxes would be so high.
It'll be cold.
Nicholas wants me to talk about D.R. Horton homes. I'd mentioned them last week. There was an article that came out. Do you have D.R. Horton in your area?
They just came in last year or 2 years ago. Yeah.
So the article that came out said that the D.R. Horton homes that were built here in the South, because it's the same plan. So they make this plan. It's just a 4-bedroom plan, and they build it the same house in Tennessee as they do in Texas, as they do in, New Jersey. But they didn't accommodate for our type of weather conditions here for their plan. And so what the claim is in the article is that because of the negative pressure is causing mold issues in all these homes, and people are getting really sick. So they're talking about in the article, they were talking about a class action lawsuit that they're going to put against them, because it isn't just one family, it's numerous families. And he's going to pull up the article now. Yeah. Lawsuit. Oops. Oh, Eddie, you gotta pop up there. Oh, look, and he's gonna try to pull up the
Louisiana.
Yeah, and he's pulling up the sale paper. Try to pull up the article. Here it goes. Lawsuit claims that D.R. Horton's homes can't withstand Louisiana humidity. Alabama cases alleges critical mistakes. So yeah, that was the one that I put out last week. But yeah, it was mostly because of the air conditioning units. And not only that, the people that were in that community weren't allowed to use any other air conditioning company except for what was it? Something mechanical. I forgot what it was. You might want to scroll
There
down.
was an internal conversation where they admitted that they built the houses the same everywhere and didn't account for humidity concerns.
Yeah, that came straight from the New York, from the DR Horton advisor. Yeah.
Wow.
Bell Mechanical. Yeah, it was Bell Mechanical. They could only use Bell Mechanical to repair anything that was wrong with the air conditioning.
Wow.
If you're in the chat and you happen to have, doesn't matter who your builder is, you're having a problem like this with your air conditioning unit and you don't want your warranty to be voided out because you had it repaired by another company. What you can do is have another company come in and evaluate it.
Yep.
Don't let them do any kind of repairs, but have them give you an evaluation of it so that way you can document everything. So just FYI. David with a $5 super chat question. I know this is a wild guess. If you were to predict interest rates at the end of 2022, where do you see rates at? I had said originally 4.75, but now I'm creeping at 5.25. What are you thinking?
I mean, definitely 5.25, 5.5. I just got a Breyer approved this week for 5.
Yep.
And he's like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, because people were at the end of December. I had a group of real estate agents on, and they were like, "No way is it going to reach 4%? No way!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it totally is. It's going to be like a 4.75." That's my prediction. That was my prediction in December. Now I'm 5.25, 5.25. What do you think, Susanna?
Oh yeah, my first inclination was 4.75, and then I was thinking too. It's like, well, we're already at 4.25, and then I remembered an article. Forgot where it was, but they said 5.25. So we'll see. We have a total of 6 increases scheduled this year, I think. Yep. So the first one just came on the 16th from the feds.
We already heard that they're coming.
Yeah. But even though there could be interest rates increase, that doesn't necessarily fall in line with the same things that happen with mortgage rates, as you know. So I don't know. I still don't. The thing is that it's still, the housing prices are not, this is where people are like, oh, the interest rates are going to go up, so the housing prices are going to tank. Here's the thing. The people that are buying with cash, and there's still not enough houses on the market to begin with. And then the people that were on the fence that were going to go to another house, now they're going to, what if they needed a loan? They're like, no, you know what? We'll just stay in our house because we're at 6% or 5.25%. I'm not going to go ahead and get another house. Forget it. I'll just stay here. So that's going to make less houses come on the market. Yeah. And then then people were talking about, oh, there's so many houses that are going to hit foreclosure, because of the moratorium. Nope, that's not happening either. Those people have restructured their loan. We have very little. It was under 800,000. Over a month ago of people that are on the forbearance plan. Those people were able to save their house. Either they refinance their house or they're on another repayment structure. So those people aren't going anywhere. No. And unless we get an exorbitant amount of houses, I think they said 5.1 million, 5.2 million that were short of affordable housing throughout the United States. The houses are going to continue to increase, in my opinion.
Yeah. No. True.
Thank you, Susanna. I'm glad you agree with me. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I got you. Okay.
Susanna. David also asked, so many homeowners have refinanced in the past 2 years, correct? Yes. At 2.2 to 3% interest rates. Do you see homeowners trapped and not willing to sell and then buy because they have to pay above 5%? Yes.
You say yes? I say no, because they see inflation at 7 or 8%. So they figure, what the heck?
I think that people, when they know that they're going to have to pay more for a house and pay the bank in order to do it, they'll be like, you know what? We'll just stay in our house. Forget it. I'm not going to pay.
We rent it out.
Yeah, we'll rent out our other house.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, like all these people that we were promised, I don't know, 5, 6 years, 7 years ago, that there was going to be a massive amount of housing going on the market because all the baby boomers were going to retire and they were going to sell their small houses and move south. But you know what those baby boomers did? They were like, yeah, we already paid this sucker off. We're just going to keep it. Yeah. We're going to keep it. We'll have 2 houses. Yep. There's a lot of
110. So
yep,
I'm going to stay here.
We're going to stay here. Yep. Debbie Brady says, your dreams coach, also a moderator extraordinaire, says, for new home build buyers, will they be getting an increase in price since the time to occupancy is so long? Yes. Here in Louisiana, that has happened. In Texas, it has been like a long going thing that sometimes they'll put in an offer. It's at 300,000. By the time they get to closing, it's about $100,000 over. And what about your area?
It's about 10-15%. It's not significant, but again, the new home building market is very, very small in Pittsburgh.
That's correct. You
Very
said
small.
that before. What about your area, Susanna?
Well, yes. First of all, yes. If you get early into construction, into the process of the construction, absolutely, there's going to be an increase. But what I see builders do is they just build the house until they're 6 weeks out from closing, and then they put it on the market just to kind of, account for any changes. And that works pretty well too. And chances are that you're going to close pretty, close around that original finish date, completion date, maybe 2 weeks, 4 weeks difference. But you pretty much don't do dirt starts anymore, and I will not recommend anybody to do dirt starts.
You could not pay me to start a house from scratch, like go into a office, a little sales office, and be like, yeah, I want to pick out my floor plan so I can pick out my own cabinets and tile and wood flooring. No. The only way I would purchase a brand new home right now is if it was, like you said, 6 weeks away from closing and it's ready to go. I'll be like, yep, pick me. I'll take that one, because there's no way. I would not. So different. I would not. I get it. That's a smart way to do it as far as the builders are concerned too. I have to say.
How's it in Pittsburgh?
We just don't have, it's all dirt starts. We don't really have too many new home building communities. Like when we do the one that in my school district, Fox Chapel Area School District, that came, had been 4 or 5 years in the making before they went through all the permitting processes. So by the time they actually opened, the home builder actually opened up and was taking deposits, till the single family houses were gone, I want to say it was like 10-12 weeks until all the lots were gone. And people were moving in between 9 and 11 months. They were promised 8 to 9 months. I knew from the get-go it was going to be longer, but it wasn't like astronomically longer. So, and
in a lot of the neighborhoods here in Louisiana, like they're not owned by one specific builder. So you can buy a lot, hold on to that lot, and then have your builder build something on that lot later on. Really? So some neighborhoods, we
have very few on your lot builders. Like I could list them on one hand.
Right. But you have to you have so much time. Like you can buy the lot. The covenants say you have to get, secure a builder with X amount of time, and it has to be completed within, let's say, 3 years. So we have a lot of those too. So some people bought some dirt. That happened a lot after 2007. And then all of a sudden, like the housing crash happened. Then all of a sudden, all these people were selling their lots. I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't you want to live in the neighborhood? But everybody was looking for a paycheck, like I'm going to win the lottery, like, no, dirt doesn't work the same as houses, but whatever. Nicholas says, land development. I work in and see what's going on in my area of Texas. What do you see this investment on BlackRock's and will come to an end? Never.
As long as there's money to be made, they will stay.
Yeah.
The involvement might change, if it goes down a little or slows down, maybe they'll slow down, but I don't see an end either.
No, they own so much. As a matter of fact, if they don't own it, they sit on the board and they own a lot of that board.
Wow.
Every company that you look at, sure enough, if you dig, who's on the board? Oh, sure enough, it's BlackRock. And if it isn't BlackRock, it's Vanguard. Those two companies own America. Those two companies own America. That's crazy.
Sad. Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's sad. I got some trivia for you. Did you know that real estate investment was not a thing until the 70s?
I believe it.
80s,
I told
actually.
Really?
Yeah. So with that first real estate crisis in the 80s, that's when people are like, ooh, we can make money. Before it was just a means to live somewhere. And then in the 80s, it was all of a sudden a way to invest and and make money. And then, of course,
Didn't
it's
they have apartment buildings before the 80s, though?
Right, but they were in cities, and it was very
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it wasn't like, like what she's saying, like real estate investing, where people are like, I'm going to own these 3 things. I'm going to use it for tax deductions. I mean, it's a whole business now. Other people were like, oh, I have this apartment building. I'm going to live in this one, and they're going to pay my rent all the way up so I can own the building. It's just, it was different how they invested. And I believe it, because I remember the neighbor across the street from us, he was buying an apartment above in a restaurant, and I remember my parents were like, well, that's dumb. And then my aunt uncle did some like real estate investing. My mom always said, oh, look at all the cleanup they have to do, all the cleanup after all those tenants. I knew buying real estate was dumb. What a dumb investment.
well,
Guess what, you're wrong. But I believe it. Yeah, I totally believe that it would become so like late 70s going into the 80s during the Reagan years.
Yeah, I had no clue. So that really came as a surprise to me that it wasn't anything else. And also,
You hot?
No.
Okay, I'm dying.
You want me to open the door?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like I'm roasting right here. My face is getting hot as a tomato. I'm like, here we go. Oh, the air. Wow. The dogs are coming in now. Anyways, sorry about that.
oh, no.
Yeah, that's if you have any other trivia you want to throw out there, I mean, that'd be fun. That makes a lot of sense. Charles says, with the rise in interest rates, the refinancing and the mortgage refinancing and the mortgage industry will be drying up. What will the mortgage industry do to compensate for the loss of business? If the interest rates go up, and there's a lot of mortgage brokers that have based their whole entire business on just refinancing houses, they had a poor business plan to begin with. But just like the real estate industry, whenever the market falls apart, it gets rid of the bad apples. It gets rid of the bad apples. And the ones that have stayed before and will recover again are the ones that will always know the right thing to do for you as a customer. So yeah, the strong will survive as far as I'm concerned.
The small mortgage banking firm in Pittsburgh that I use has been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
they know how to weather.
They're not going anywhere. They survived 2008. They're like, they can survive anything. But
I remember I've been friends with who were in the mortgage business and have since left, that made their whole entire business about refinancing. And now they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, yeah, dummy.
Well, the amount of real estate agents since I got into real estate has doubled. So we went from 3,000 to 6,000. And I hear a lot, oh, you guys make so much money and don't do anything for it. And give me some of your commission. I'm like, what? Because I mean, especially on the buyer side, I mean, I work my rear end off.
Sure.
So I'm like,
yeah, but they don't understand too. And let's just say it's $6,000. They don't understand almost nearly half of that goes to your broker. Because when they write out the check, it isn't written out to Susanna. It's written out to the broker that she works for. So let's just say it's Miller Williams. Right. So like you have to pay your broker first. Then you have to pay your taxes. Then you have to pay for all your marketing fees. Then you have to pay for all your like your gas money and all this other stuff. I mean, by the time everything's said and done and all the hours and everything else you put into it, you're like, wait a minute, that didn't really pan out to how much I worked my rear end off on that deal. When you break it all down, but people are like, they just see that end number and they're like, she didn't even do anything for this deal. Well, your deal might have been easy, but let me tell you about the last 15 I had. This one is like a thank God. I deserved one.
These wrinkles, yeah, they were earned.
I've had people make me cry because some people are just not nice people.
Yeah.
Sailor Johnson says, hey, Kristina, from down under Brisbane, Australia. Hello, welcome. Do your toilets flush the opposite way? I'm sure everybody asked that. Originally from South Georgia. Oh, I love South Georgia. It's so nice there. Finally made it to the live stream and it was not pre-recorded. Ha ha ha. Oh. Well, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. That was really nice. And one day, my youngest daughter's name is Sydney. because my husband and I were supposed to travel to what country? Australia, to go to Sydney, Australia. That was my lifelong dream. So my lifelong dream became a little bundle of joy. Her name was Sydney.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yep. S has a question that says, do you believe that it will come up with
That what comes up
must come down with the low supply continued to dictate the rising prices? The low supply will dictate the rising prices, but this can't last forever. There has to be some give. I know, Susanna, you had sent me some stuff about affordable housing and affordable housing options. You cannot have a group of people that have bought, that are so priced out of the market that the only choice they have is to live in a car. And I know that in some areas in Colorado, like around the Denver area, the people that work in a lot of the industries cannot find an affordable place to live. So they have a job, they're working their tail off, but they're trying to find an affordable place to live. And the only place they have is their car. So they're living out of their car in order to have a job in that area. And when people say, you should just move, why did they just move? Some people do not have the ability to pack up their whole entire life and move, you know, like just think about that. You know, they might have grandma around the corner, you know, that lives in an assisted living home that's run by the state. You know, they might have to take care of them. There's all sorts of situations why people can't leave that area. My biggest concern is, like, we're seeing a rise in homelessness throughout the United States, and places like Austin, Texas has seen an exponential amount. California's always had a problem. I mean, even around Phoenix, Arizona, I was in Phoenix. There was a lot of homeless all over the place. Like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I don't know. Do you have a homeless problem? Is it an issue in your area?
Yeah, we do. We really have a lot. And, you know, just like in other cities, you know, there's some attempts to curb that and to kind of take care of people. But, you know, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing. You know, you're homeless because you can't get a job if you're homeless, but when you don't have a job, well, you have to be homeless because you can't do anything. So, you know, what do you do? That's kind of, you know, one of the big issues. And we have, you know, we started with tiny home, areas where they're building tiny homes, and they're trying to get youth in there between 18 and 27, I think, that are threatened with homelessness, just to kind of get them off the streets. And we tried with some other programs. We actually in Colorado Springs have a huge program to help, you know, the homeless, which maybe also makes us the prime destination for homelessness. But you know what? The wintertime, man, at -28 at night, this is not a fun place to be homeless. It really isn't. And, you know, it's just same situation like everywhere.
Yeah. That's why at some point it's going to have to fall. Like, there has to be some place for people to live, because I don't know if there's a statistic, and I put out a video, and it said that people that were earning $75,000 to $100,000 a year could find a house, an affordable home, it was 1 in 25 homes. Now, after the pandemic, it was 1 in every 65 to 69 homes that are affordable. And it may not even be in the area that they would have considered living before. So it's like, you know, like, these people are making good money. You know, $75,000 to $100,000 a year is nothing to sneeze at, and they can't afford an affordable house. And people are like, oh, well, that doesn't even get you anything. That's a house that's around $250,000. So some areas like Miami, Orlando, like, those are hard places to find an affordable house that used to be affordable.
Yeah.
Tampa, all around Florida, even New Orleans. You can find one for $250, but I don't know.
Right.
Might need a little work. Just FYI, it's gonna need a little work on it.
Not here.
Not here. No. All right. Dylan says, options for first-time home buyer builder, $40K a year in Raleigh, North Carolina. No DTI, and the credit score is 700 plus. But no down payment save. USDA approved me for $200,000, but I'm having trouble competing with all the offers. Dylan, I know an agent. Her name is Ellen Pitts. She's actually on this YouTube platform. You can find her. she is in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And another one is Sir Ashley. He's another one. If you go look up Sir Ashley, he's on YouTube as well. Both of those are good, awesome real estate agents in the area. They can help you find a home in, under that amount of money. I know that Raleigh's like wicked hard to find a house though. Really hard, really hard. Like people that have been totally priced out of the market because the increase of how much homes have gone up there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy. Crazy for feeling so
She loves singing. She does it for fun. She's good at it. She tries to get me to sing, and I'm like,
I'm not good at it. I just fake it, man. Just like everything, I just fake it. I do it with confidence, so it makes it seem like I know what I'm doing.
Serenity Cow. I love that name.
Go ahead, read it.
Question: any opinion on the states offering, quote, pay you to move, end quote, promos? And as a Denver resident, housing is only for the wealthy. Corporations like Progress Residential buy up many single-family homes here. So any opinion on the states offering, quote, pay you to move promos?
I've never
never heard of that.
Serenity Cow, I want you to reach out to me. Go to my email, my website, KristinaSmallhorn.com, and give me your information. And I want to get any articles that you have on this because I've never heard of state of doing this. I think I don't know why a state would.
Oh, actually, I just saw an ad for this Serenity Cow. I saw it for Tulsa, and they were trying to have tech workers come. I work with a lot of tech clients, so I think that it affected my algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you're referring to, and I did not look into it at all. That's really
I would love some more information on this. So whatever you have, please go to my website, KristinaSmallhorn.com, fill out one of the referral forms, and I'll get back to you because this is pretty interesting. Oh, Eddie, look at him. He's so good.
Eddie!
These
Eduardo!
These are 5 U.S. states that will pay you to move there. Look for a change. All right. The pandemic shook up life for a lot of people around the country. Work went remote, and changes in the work life priorities promoted people to quit their jobs in masses. Let's get down to the places that are doing this.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares about the blah, blah, blah.
Oklahoma. Tulsa. What did I just say?
Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's what you just said. Number 1. Oklahoma is awash in natural beauty, but that's not all. It has a plenty up and coming businesses. If you want to move to Tulsa as a remote worker, you'll be eligible for a grant to $10,000. Hook a sister up, man. Hey, Eddie. Well, let's get paid to move. I can do YouTube anywhere. And I can't see the one you just highlighted. The state is offering some of its residents, mostly in need, an extra $1,200 stimulus payment amid the challenges that came out through the pandemic in the early stages. Minnesota, you couldn't pay me to deal with that cold. Heck no.
I'd go to Bozeman.
Kristina says no. Minnesota too is eager to attract the digital nomads. Remember you were talking about that earlier, Susanna. It includes up to $2,500 for moving to costs and access to free co-working space at Launchpad in its historic Mayflower building, a $1,500 value. All right. Let's see. Eddie's scrolling down.
Alaska.
Oh, heck no. No, indeed. Okay, first of all, Alaska or a can of Coke costs you $5. Yes, Alaska is cold and rugged, but for those sound like the bonuses rather than drawbacks, an enormous state can be a place for you to discover a whole new life and mooses. If you're eligible, you could take home about $1,600 through a grant, plus the entire state is tax-free.
Just like Florida.
But here's the thing, there isn't enough houses in Alaska either, and they only have a small window. They have a small window to build a house. Like a small window to build a house. Small. Vermont. Now I would live in Vermont. It's absolutely beautiful.
There's a lot of snow there.
There is a lot of snow there, but man, have you seen the falls there? I just go for the fall. Sure, Vermont is huge. Is a huge and larger than life companies like Ben & Jerry's to start there. That's why Remote Workers Grant program wants you to move there. It offers you $10,000 over 2 years to people that want to relocate. Man, that is the best one, man. I would totally hook it up. This is something new to me. Thank you for giving me this.
Kansas.
Oh man.
Topeka, Kansas.
Click your heels together, Annie. And we're going to Kansas. It actually has some of the most affordable homes in the United States, too, by the way. Kansas does. Family friendly city of Topeka, Kansas. That is oh my gosh, they actually have the most affordable houses in the country, too. Is Topeka,
Really?
Kansas. Yes, I did that in my video that I put out on Tuesday. Most affordable places to live in Topeka, Kansas is it. They have all these beautiful craftsman style homes too that are like $60,000, $70,000.
Oh, I love
What?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Like they're beautiful. Hey, Susanna, you want me to hook you up? You want me to find your real estate agent in Topeka, Kansas? It's a family friendly city. Topeka, Kansas is on the lookout for more young professionals. How much is the grant? Oh, sweet. $15,000.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I need to find out what their weather patterns are.
Let me go.
I need to find out what their weather patterns are. It's what's that, Eddie? It is in Tornado Alley. I had to know. Yeah. We'd be clicking our heels looking.
What about
calling
Tulsa? Is there snow in Tulsa?
Eddie, you can scroll down a little bit. $1,500. If it's not your situation to work remote, you can be eligible for $5,000 too. If you
they have to opt in to choose Topeka.
If you choose in Topeka, you get an extra $5,000. Okay, so those were the top ones. Wow, that was very enlightening. Thank you so much for people were like, dude, you can't find a house? Like our state has tons of houses. Nobody wants to move here. We're paying you to come here. So that way you can
working space.
Yeah. Sorry if this question was already asked. What are the risks of cash as king type of mortgages? You have to be really careful. Like, so the only one that I know of and I feel comfortable telling you about is the one that my friend Trevor Smith was talking about, the mortgage wingman. He could walk you through that. There is some other ones that have the cash as king type of home loans that do these home loans that say you're cash, but you're really getting a loan. I'm just not, we don't do a lot of those here, honestly. I've not seen anybody in my area do that, but I know that if you're in competitive markets, people have been doing this. I know that they started it in Seattle, Washington, and it's kind of like spread everywhere. But if you want to know more about that, go to Trevor Smith, the mortgage wingman. He's on YouTube here. I've had him on here. So
Taking notes because I have a buyer that needs to do that. So
yeah, go talk to Trevor Smith. He's licensed in several states. He's a really good. He is the numbers dude.
Okay,
he's the numbers dude. Sarah Mason says it's my actual name. Where's the 93 acres of 4 houses? What's the MLS number? I know. I need to call him to see if he actually put it on the market yet. But he sent me pictures, and my mouth was drooling. I'm like, they were like that barn red color. Oh. All of them were all painted, all that barn red, and like they were old houses, but you could tell that they've been loved for years. Hook a sister up. I wanted it. Topeka, I'll stay in my mom's basement and on Long Island. Well, the thing is you better if you're going to do Topeka, this is where you save so much money that you could extra strength your basement in Topeka, Kansas. So that way you have a heck of a shelter for when
there you go.
The whirly whirls go around. Jerry Prusa says, Kristina, who's wearing the collar this week? Marcel or Harvey? No, you mean pancakes?
Oh, pancakes.
Yeah.
I was like, who's Harvey?
Well, I have 2 cats. I don't know. Do you have cats?
No.
Susanna?
No.
Dog?
Just a dog. Mm-hmm.
I have 3 dogs and 2 cats. The cats are a new addition.
Wow.
And for a couple weeks, the cats got really excited, and then they would crawl up here, and I made them part of the live stream because I don't really care. They want to be famous, they can be famous. So they've been avoiding us.
They have been. Normally I'm here, and anyone can see my arm move during the live streams. That's me petting Daisy.
Yeah, I even have an extra camera for the pets, so when they come in, I can do the pet stream. But they're avoiding us. I must smell. Lost dude. If the market is so great, what are mortgage companies on the left coast advising REAs to get ready for the flood of short sales and foreclosures?
They're not.
According to who?
Yeah, I saw a headline, and I didn't send you the article because it was ridiculous. It was 7x the number of foreclosures. Well, you know what? You get to the beef of the article, and it's like 7x 0.000001 is still effectively 0.
Mhm.
So that's the headline she probably fell for.
Wow.
unfortunately.
No.
That's what a lot of YouTubers do too.
Mhm.
They'll take statistics and
Mhm.
they'll cut out half the information so it looks like,
Mhm.
and they'll put it on a chart and they'll be like, they'll make the arrow go like this and it's like, wow, that's really going up, and it's like it was 0.0007%. It's literally doing nothing. What are you talking about?
That's so annoying.
7 times. 7 times 0 is still 0.
Yeah. There. I don't know where the flood of foreclosures and short sales will come from. What would be the job market would have to totally collapse in order for foreclosures to hit the market. And let me just put it this way. Let's just say tomorrow the jobs numbers come out and they're absolutely dreadful, just terrible. Those people stop paying their mortgage tomorrow. Those homes wouldn't get on the market for another 6 to 9 months minimum. So yeah, I don't see
True.
and then and not only that, let's just say they were in that situation. Do you know what the first thing they would do? They're like, oh crap, we don't have a job. We don't have any money. You know what? We'll put our house up for sale. And they wouldn't lose anything. Because there is no short sale. They're not gonna short sale it because they're gonna get equity from it.
Yeah. No.
Oh, crazy. I don't know. These headlines get people to buy papers because I think what it is they know that there's a group of people that are extremely hopeful that home prices will tank. So they hold on to these headlines and these articles like, see, they said it. And I'm like, yeah, they said it, but they also said this could possibly be, if none of these things in the previous part of the article, the last 75% of this article were to happen, yes, it could happen, but we don't see it right now. And they make that the last sentence of the whole entire article. It's I know.
Well, and the other day I had a phone call where the lady said, well, with all this inflation, people will start to not be able to afford their mortgage anymore. I'm like, yeah, they'll be. I didn't quite understand where she's coming from with, if the inflation increases, then they can't pay for their mortgage.
Because everything else that they're paying for is so much more expensive, right? So if they had a budget of, let's say their mortgage payment was $1,033, then their grocery bill that was $100 is now $200. Now their gas prices have gone up and they used to pay $100 a week on gas. Now it's almost $200 in gas. So they're the struggling people that are working paycheck to paycheck. Yes, they are going to have some of those people. If the inflation goes up, there's going to be some people that will lose their homes, but they're not going to lose their home to foreclosure. They're just going to sell it for a profit and walk away.
To one of those 8 other offers that would have been on the house anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Because we do not have enough supply of homes. There isn't enough homes being built right now. Even if everybody was to put on their house on the market right now, if we were like 5 million people to throw it on the market right now, there would still be 5 million buyers that are willing to buy those houses.
I just wouldn't wait for that to happen. Let's put it that way.
Right. I know. I honestly, when I saw so many people at the beginning of this pandemonium go and take the forbearance, I thought, holy poop, we're in bad shape. Because it was high as numbers was when the housing crash happened. As many people that took, they were trying to get short sales and were going into foreclosure. Those were the same, almost identical numbers. Wow. I was panicked. I was like, we are going to see record number of people going in bad shape. And then I thought, nobody's going to go into anybody's house if they're with this deadly, disgusting disease. Like, I'm not going to walk into anybody's house. I don't know if they're carrying some funky chicken stuff. Funky chicken. People are gross. I've watched people in the bathroom. Half of them don't even know how to wash their hands properly. Do you ever see this where they go to school like this and they just put water on one side of their hand and then they walk out? You're like, I don't know if I want to go in their house. So I really honestly, truly believed that I thought the housing market was going to tank like the Titanic. Like I really did. And then I had to eat my words. And I've said it many times. I ate my words. I was wrong. Kristina was wrong.
Well, you can admit it. That's awesome.
Oh, I admit it all the time. I mean, I really, honestly, I get called out probably every third show. They're like, you said, oh, yes, I did.
That's why people love you. That's why people love you.
Yep. Okay, it says, this kid says, do you think that the housing shortage will be forced cities to allow for more people to buy in infill lots and put modular homes on them or in smaller homes? Do you think the housing shortage will force cities to allow more? The administration has talked about it. I don't know. What do you think, Susanna?
Well, I think that will come in ways of zoning. They have to do something. They have to increase the density. And I mean, we have areas that are super dense. To do
Sure.
that there doesn't make any sense at all. But in other areas, you need to allow people to have another dwelling on your 43,000 square feet of land. You can put another house on there. And I think that's what will happen. There will be zoning changes. There have to be zoning changes.
The Biden administration at the beginning of the year had said that there was going to be loosening up of restrictions for more affordable housing options when it came to like modular homes and homes that were built in manufactured plants. Now, these homes still have to meet the regulations of the local area, but they were going to allow for more land to be released for those more affordable housing options. And I think I maybe I'm wrong. I'm asking the community. I think if you made a nice tiny home community, let's just say let's not even say tiny homes, we'll just call them smaller homes, let's say 500 square foot homes, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom houses that were in your area that were forced to be in an HOA so they maintained the community itself. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. What do you say, Susanna?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, even though we did have a project close to where my mom lives, where, well, there was a town hearing because the owner planned to make this a tiny home community. And I mean, everybody was just up in arms, and it ended up not happening. I'm not sure why, but it ended up not happening. And so again, it goes back to this rebranding that you had mentioned earlier.
Right.
That has to
We just say affordable housing. People think, oh, that's Section 8 and a bunch of druggies, and they're going to have hypodermic needles all over the place. And no. They love, that's our favorite thing. No. Yeah.
So do you think it's going to change? I mean, you mentioned Biden has done something, but
I think a lot of these bills, administration crap, doesn't matter who the president is, honest to God. They all say a lot of like lip service nonsense, and they put it in these papers and they go, we tried, but blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of lip service. So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Because they had one of the things that came out from that same exact White House paper at the same time was they had said that they were working with urban communities to refurbish over 100,000 homes throughout the country and get them to be more affordable housing options. 100,000 homes over 10 years. 100,000 homes over 10 years. That is that's literally a slap in the face.
They did like 25 last year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, 25.
In 2019, they did like 30.
Such a hose.
Yeah.
Such a hose, but whatever. Aaron Yang says, your thoughts on D.R. Horton as a builder. Do you have a tier list for new home builder buyers? Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what builder you use like the chain builders. Like there's like Perry, there's Ryland, there's D.R. Horton, there's we have DSLD here, we have Level here. Every builder in every area is going to be completely different. So like somebody would say, oh, Ryland homes are terrible homes. Well, they're perfectly fine here. There's nothing wrong with them. They make up a good home. Some people in Alabama say, oh, DSLD makes a terrible home. I'm like, you out of your mind? My inspections go through like this. There isn't a thing they can find anything wrong with them. Matter of fact, the inspectors here give the buyers a discount because they don't find anything wrong with DSLD homes so often that they're like, you know what, we'll just give you a discount because they can get them done in like 20, 30 minutes. Because they have like this massive checklist, they do. But that may not be the case in your specific area. You have to meet with your real estate agent in your specific area to find out who the builders are that they trust and they know that will get it closed and not cause you a bunch of hassle. What do you say, Suzanne?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I mean, even within the town, within the city, we have some areas where because we are like right on the Front Range, if you have a builder building on the mountain, especially on the mountainside, well, they need to know a little bit to make sure that the house doesn't slide off the mountain, which has happened. So
in Pittsburgh too. Mhm.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. So you really have to know which builder has the experience and just within the city. Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Well, that is like, and that is true. Like you said, the house sliding off the. I would never have thought about that. You know,
Mhm.
sliding off a hillside, because we don't have hills in Louisiana, but we sure do have flooding. And we'll talk to you about like all the flood zones and what you need to know about flooding and
Okay.
how you take care of flooding and how you inspect for flooding and everything about black mold. Those are not the same things that Susanna is going to be dealing with in her area. So that's why it's super, super important to deal with a real estate agent that's local to that specific area, because everybody's problems are completely different. One problem we don't have here, radon gas. It's not even a thing. Not even a thing.
And I have a radon system in my house.
Yeah, and you have radon.
Mhm.
Yep, we do too. Yep. I mean, 80% of Colorado has
Yeah,
radon. So it's not,
because of granite.
yep,
Mhm.
not a big deal.
In Pittsburgh, the builders build the more modern builders build the space for the fans, and then it's just the home buyer buys their own fan.
Yeah.
Puts it in there.
Oh, to get the
But
radon gas
correct,
built out? Okay,
correct.
gotcha.
Because you can't build without it existing. So rather than do the test, they just build the pit and do the
Call it
fan.
good. Yep, we have that too. Yeah, and then that's a difference of $1,000 if they do that. You, as a buyer, you just put in $500 fan and call it good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know a thing about it. Not a thing. Like, because that's not something I've ever had to deal with. It's not a thing in Florida either. All right, where are we next, Edward? Nicholas Roberts says, Kristina, question: when the bad apples fall, what happens then?
He's talking about the mortgage bankers.
Most of our entire industry is based on liquidity of new builds, land development, investors, Gen Z folks. What do we do? I would say you talk to someone that's lived it. You talk to somebody who's been through it before. I would, I, it always, every time I see a new lender and they get that first, like, I just bought a Lexus. I'm like, and we will not see you next year, because they think it's always a windfall forever. And then they were like, oh, they get stuck with their pants down.
87% of real estate agents in Pennsylvania do not hit the 5-year mark.
Don't hit the 5-year mark.
They don't hit 2 renewal cycles. They might renew once, but they don't renew 2.
Really?
Because they don't pay for taxes and everything else. Like the people don't have proper prior planning. The thing is save your money now. You save it now for when the days get longer and the businesses starts drying up. You just save now so that way you can weather the storm, because it's going to pick up again.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you, and learn from people that have done it and lived it before.
And stay ahead of the curve too. I mean, stay informed, see what other options there are so that you can, okay, I'm going to say the word pivot. You have to with whatever is going on. And if somebody just wants to, take all the profit but not really stay with it, I mean, they're going to lose out.
You may want to years when I got into this industry, it was the beginning of short sales, and I learned everything you possibly learn about short sales. And then I became the short sale agent in my office. Right. Well, now I would start to find out what other creative loans that people can use, especially if they have equity in their house. So I would become that expert in that specific thing. So that way you can blanket the area, like if it's HELOCs or, second mortgages, anything like that. So people can access their own money and become an expert in that. So that way you don't have to worry and depend on only refis. What you writing down?
Financing options. I was like, okay, HELOC, bridge loan. What else is there? I mean, so just remembering that was an important
reverse mortgages. Those make me nervous.
Stuff. So I need to write it down.
Hey, we all learn from each other, Suzanne. I learn all the time. This one's a smart one, because when I really look stupid, she clears it up for me. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do when she's done here?
I skipped the 3rd grade, so.
Oh, you need to throw that in there. She works for philanthropy and she skipped the 3rd grade.
But I am a nerd. You're the one with the fun personality. I'm like, let me hit you with some facts.
Question: in broad strokes, which contingencies are better and which ones are worse to waive? What is your opinion on this, Susanna?
Contingencies. So we have a whole lot. Okay, so inspection. We don't waive the inspection. We just waive the right to object. So it's either stay or go. So we do inspections. At least that's how I do my business. And I read it all the time when, people are like, oh yeah, this agent told me not to do an inspection. I'm like, oh my gosh, do an inspection, but just waive the right to object, but you have the right to terminate. That's what I do. I think
That's basically what we do here too.
Okay,
I do it. I waive the inspection. It's for the buyer's information only, unless the inspection reveals that the cost of repairs is X amount of dollars more than they were willing to pay.
Yeah, you can write that up in all different kinds of versions, and however creative you are. And then we have contingencies. We have contingencies for property insurance, due diligence, and that stuff you can waive. You get all that done in your inspection time, and then you can waive all that. But inspection is that's the most important that you should keep. I don't know. What do you think?
The other thing that people were waiving a lot was appraisals and appraisal. They were doing appraisal gaps and all this other stuff. That has not been like the most common thing here in Louisiana. So they do it. I don't know. Is that a thing there with appraisals and appraisal gaps?
Yeah. I mean, they don't. We usually don't necessarily waive the appraisal. Even if you have the biggest gap in the world, sometimes we do. But every offer I have, there is an appraisal gap. Every offer, even if it's $1,000, there is an appraisal gap. So yeah, we keep it.
And sellers are being more savvy, and they don't want to accept offers without inspections because they know that liability is on them.
Yeah, but the way our contracts reads, if they forego it, that's on them. So all really? Sales are sold as is.
Okay.
At the time of closing, it's yours.
It's your problem.
Unless they withheld information that was pertinent to the sale and they knew it. Like they knew that the air conditioning was bad. And they had a repairman go out there several times, and then you closed on the property, and then the neighbor comes over and says, oh yeah, ABC air conditioning was just out here last week. Is it still broken? And then you have ABC, they're like, oh yeah, we were at this house. We're here every single weekend. Then you have proof. Then you can sue them.
That happened with a sub-zero fridge because there's only certain sub-zero techs like
Correct.
Have to be certified.
Correct.
And my clients, who are still dear friends, they got the ticket from the sub-zero tech. Was like, oh yeah, we were here with the seller 60 days ago when she was getting ready to list, and we told her in writing that it was bad. There was absolutely no fix. We did all the fixes we could. It can't be fixed. It needs to be totally replaced. But the appraisal gaps, I write them in Pittsburgh, and inspection clause gaps, I write them also in Pittsburgh. We don't have a pass or fail. We don't have informational purposes only. People have tried to write those in, and the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors attorney told them to stick it where the sun don't shine.
Someone's very saucy. Someone is very saucy over there at the man. Christian Smith with a $10 super chat says, you keep saying prices have to fall. Look at Canada, Australia, and the UK. I know. I'm saying at some point. It's like, I'm not. Everything that goes up must go down. But you're right. I've talked about Australia a lot. How do those people do it? The dollar is devaluated, so it takes more of them to buy the same goods and services. You're correct. At some point, like it's Newton's law. What comes up must come down at some point. I'm not saying it's happening today, but at some point, there's something that has to give. They're either going to have to build more affordable housing, or they're going to have to make housing less expensive for people that are good wage earners, that would be good, productive people to pay more tax dollars, property tax dollars in your area. I get it. I know what you're saying, but yeah. Australia is one of the worst. And I'll tell you what the biggest problem for Australia is. They have everything centralized in major cities, right? And then as soon as that city ends, like that someone like drew a map all the way around the city, and then they stopped, and the infrastructure stopped at the same exact spot. Wow. So everything in that central area, it goes up and up and up and up, and they just don't have enough space, or wherewithal to build more houses outside that area because they don't have the infrastructure set up.
No urban sprawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that here in Louisiana, we have the same problem. Like we could do it, but our roads we have the worst roads and bridges in the United States. Look it up.
Bad.
They're bad. They're bad. Our roads and bridges are like on the top 10 worst in the United States. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's when I knew that like my dental work was really good because you're always hitting like my fillings didn't fall out. Era Redeem says, "What do you think about the stationary RVing travel trailers? I'm going to get it out in these housing crisis times. I think they're genius.
Absolutely.
I think they're genius.
I just got a house under contract, listed and got a house under contract this weekend of a family that says, bye-bye house, we're living out of the trailer.
Wow.
Yeah, and you think about that. If you had a family and you could afford to do something like that, you would be giving your kids an experience of a lifetime. You get in your beautiful RV that you would have spent like normally people would have the RV in the house, but now you just have the RV. You can fill it up with gas. You can go to all over the United States. There's so much to see and you could never see it all at once. So you could get to live and experience people all over the country, all these different cultures, all these different foods. That is something you could give to your kids, even to yourself, that most people would never experience. I think it's amazing. I'm super jelly. I'm super jelly. We didn't have, like Eddie and I were married for several years before we had kids. And I'm like, we just got to party up. We were so smart. No, if we were smart, we would have gotten an RV and traveled around the United States. That's what we would have done. We were idiots because we partied our rear ends off. we went clubbing. We were so cool. Dummies. Dummies. We did have fun though. All right, next question. Long story short, $2 to chat. Topeka. I'll stay in my mom's basement. We already said that one. We already did that one, Eddie.
Eduardo.
Eddie, you're slacking. You're slacking, Eddie.
I felt partying.
It was all that clubbing in the 90s. That's what happened. 90s. Question. Oh my God, this is the best username. Utter bullspit. Who are they offering these moving grants? Oh, who are they offering these moving grants though? Who's eligible? You would have to go look at the article, but I would guarantee it's the cities themselves because they're trying to get as many more taxpayers in the area. So the cities are like, we have a declining population. So let's go ahead and like hook a sister up and get these grants out there because they were given money for who knows what. And in order to encourage people to move there, this is where they have to spend it somewhere. So they might as well encourage people to move there. The
knowledge workers, digital nomads.
Yeah, that are going to start spending.
Choose Topeka as your new home, and you could get up to $15,000 in your pocket. The exciting new program partners with Shawnee County employees to select talented professionals like you to relocate to Topeka and the Shawnee County community. If you're interested in applying, contact your employer to check your eligibility. If you work remotely and your employer is outside Shawnee County, apply now.
There you go. Boom. There it is. Utter bullspit. You got it. That is the coolest username. Are you still good on time or do you need to go, Susanna?
No, I'm still good on time.
Okay, good. Woo. We got another question. Do we have any more questions, Eduardo?
Party time.
Eddie, can we pull up another question?
Hola, Eduardo.
There it is. T has a question. Question is, this is pretty much a worldwide problem. Do you think RE stock has to do with it? It is a worldwide problem. I mean, I think other countries, like it was mentioned earlier, Canada's had this issue way before the pandemic. Matter of fact, they had so many foreign investors coming into Canada that were like dumping their money into real estate, holding onto the property, never even had anybody live there. They was just sitting there vacant. Wow. So then in some areas, they made it a law that you had to have somebody physically living there or you're going to have to pay an extra tax in order to do it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a couple of years ago, I had Brad McCallum on here and he was talking about that. I found that fascinating. I mean, it is a worldwide problem. Canada's had the problem. I'm not 100% on the UK. I know that Crow Homestead probably could talk a little bit more about that, but I know it's been a problem in Australia too. So what do you say, Susanna?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I told you, right? I was born and raised in Germany, and we have actually some pretty good public housing. I mean, there's a waiting period, but there's some good public housing, great quality stuff, and it doesn't have that like negative connotation. Actually, when people say, "Oh yeah, I live in this and this," project, like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky you got in there. You only paid this much rent." Da, 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 da. I mean, it's not the Taj Mahal, but
right.
It's a great place to live, and close usually to some streetcars or something that you can use to go wherever you want to. So we have it everywhere, and we've had it. I mean, I remember when I grew up, we had that problem. But I think how the countries deal with it, I think that's
Finland has done it well. Germany has done it well. The Netherlands has done it well. Like those Scandinavian countries have they have what we would say government housing, but it's not like how we have government housing here. And you're right that the connotation of it is not like, oh, those are dirtbags, like people, oh, they're just drug addicts. They don't have the same. It isn't the same as how we look at it here. It's not even close. Different, just a totally different way of doing it.
Yeah. So here's something,
They have affordable health care too, though.
Yes. So in Aspen, so in all those mountain towns, Aspen, Breckenridge, and so on, it's become a problem because we have all these people come in buying second homes or vacation homes. Well, we cannot house, there's literally no housing for the people that work in these mountain towns. It's a really big problem because they're so small. Once you're in a bigger city, you might have options. But it's almost like Australia, when you said, there's the town, and that's it. There is, there's not much around. So they're starting to really work to solve that, because otherwise you really just don't have workers to work the town.
Right.
Bozeman is one of those areas that you were talking about earlier. They have that problem where the workers can't afford to live there. So the people that run those lodges and those like touristy areas, they kind of like they own the hotel and they have a section for some of the workers, or they buy a lot for like your RV campers and stuff like that. And so they rent out all those lots for the little tiny houses to sit on there. So that way they have people can rent those little tiny houses and work in the area. So they're finding ways around it, but man,
they have to.
Yep.
Creative.
Question. What are affordable quality modular homes in Florida? Every area around Florida is going to have a different modular home company. Some of them will not deliver, let's just say in Miami, but will deliver to Boca. Some will deliver to Boca and Orlando, but not deliver to Tampa. You're going to have to go to each individual modular home company in Florida. I don't know them all. I really don't. So you're just going to have to get to the Google webs and get researching to see who's out there and who has the best. And I will strongly suggest look up their reviews and look for the actual responses, especially in the Better Business Bureau. If they have a bunch of complaints and they're not responding, that's a red flag. Just FYI. Just FYI. Here we go. Aaron Yang says, your thoughts about the Mountain's Edge and community in Las Vegas, mainly the D.R. Horton homes. I have no opinion about it. I don't know. I know nothing about the Las Vegas Mountain's Edge community, mainly by D.R. Horton, but I do know some agents out there. So if you want me to connect you with them, you're more than welcome to. You can just reach out to me through my website, KristinaSmallhorn.com.
Eduardo.
And he's getting it up. He can only move so fast, Tanya. So back off. I love you, Eddie. Are we done with the questions, my love? I think he didn't. I thought maybe he fell over. Normally I hear him like whine in the background. Jerry says, your roads and bridges aren't the worse than the ones in California. Oh no, they really are. Seriously, like look them up. They're like, we are, I think 6 of the top 10 worst bridges in the United States are right here in Louisiana. One of them was named so dangerous that they changed the specifications of what a bridge could be.
Oh, wow.
They're like, well, it's not that bad. We'll just make it to our advisory board when it comes to traveling. They're like, well, that's the national standards. These are our standards, and it's fine. You guys can keep traveling over it. No lie.
Well,
I'm not even joking.
We had one actually collapse, so I think we win.
Yeah.
Oh, we had one a month ago collapse, Suzanne.
Okay, you win. Oh.
And the crazy part is it's a very, very busy bridge. I go over that bridge at least 3 times a week.
Wow.
It's small,
Sick.
but the time that it collapsed, there was only 2 vehicles on it, and there was a bus on it that was empty, and all the people they were hospitalized, but they've all been discharged from the hospital. But normally it would have been a public, like a crisis, like it would have been thousands.
Wow.
Which is it was so bananas that the time that it did.
Well, if it was going to break, that would pick the perfect time to break. Is it TJ or TL Johnson 6511 says close on a home in Mississippi on Tuesday. FHA loan, 720 credit score. Only debt is a car payment. And when I can refinance, get the PMI. When can I refinance to get the PMI off? When your home has 20% equity in it, and then you can. In many cases, you just call up your company, the mortgage company. They might do what they call like a desktop appraisal on it, just to make sure it has the 20% on it, and then you can get it taken off right then and there. And if FHA, does it remain, or can you?
FHA remains.
FHA remains, so you have to refinance.
11 years, I think. I just spoke with Linda earlier, and she says, "Oh yeah, that stays for 11 years." And I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, so you have to refinance if you wanted it completely off.
So you want to check your rate, because it's not going to be, if he's closing on Tuesday, it's probably lower than the new rate bump, because he was probably approved 30, 60 days ago.
Well, I'm sure everything's already locked in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if he goes to refinance, it's going to be higher.
Yeah, it's going to be higher then.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the hold on, like you may have to hold on to it for 11 years. Sorry. Yeah. Stinks. Well, so anyways, we're all caught up with the questions. Susanna, I want to say thank you. How can people reach you here? Look, Eddie, look, he already pulled this up. This is your website. Tell everybody what your website is, Susanna.
YourColoradospringsHouse.com. And we have so many resources. So we actually do have a new construction checklist, just kind of helps you through the process. Neighborhood guides, because we have a lot of people coming here to Colorado Springs, and just to give them some insights on the market, whatever is going on. So lots of information.
You write those blogs?
Yeah, those are all blog posts. Yeah.
You write them? Oh, good.
Yes.
So if you're a reader, she's a blogger, so she's got all of her good information in there.
Yes.
I used to blog years ago. I enjoyed it, but nobody read them. So
I do too. It's a problem, but you went to YouTube. That's much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, please, by all means, if you have any questions, if you need anybody here in Colorado, I'm happy to provide any kind of information that you might need.
And if you guys need to get a hold of Tanya Cool, who is cooler than the other side of the pillow right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not here, but over there. This is her website. What is it?
TanyaCool.com.
Right.
TanyaCool.com. It's spelled Koul, not cool like cool. But I still say she's cooler than the other side of the pillow. And next time, maybe in the near future, we'll have her on as a special guest like Susanna here. Susanna, I want to say thank you for spending your day with me. And I want to say thank you to Tanya for being here for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I want to say thank you to all of our moderators who have who clean up the chat, make sure it's nice and PG-13-ish. And if you guys need to get a hold of me, all you have to do is go to my website, KristinaSmallhorn.com. You can fill out the referral form. There is a chat bot on there on the right-hand side. I hate that thing. Fill out the referral form. Yes, I will get to the chat bot stuff at some point, but it ends up getting lost in the mix. Just fill out the form on the referral site. Like, just click on book here and then click on referral form. It's so much better. When you use the chatbot thing, it's like,
she will call you.
I do call, but when it gets on the chatbot, the other ones, the referral ones get filled out. I call them first, and the chatbot ones get kind of put down on the list. Just FYI. Just FYI. Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us. Yay! We had over 400 people on the stream today. And as I was saying that, I spit it across into the camera. There was like 100. Yes. Good thing they can't get COVID through the camera. My God. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit at you people. Bye, everybody. everyone.